And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Look for light westerly winds at 10 knots here for the south coast tomorrow, with seas at 5 feet, west-southwest 15 for the central coast, and east to southeast 10 to 15 knots for the north coast. Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay, Stevens Passage, winds south 15 knots, south at 10 in the forecast for Clarence Strait. And then a big increase in the winds with that active front pushing in toward the coast. We're looking at gale force winds, southeast 30 to 35 knots here for the south coast, and east winds 30 to 35 knots for the north coast, with those seas building anywhere from 12 to as high as 17 feet. Southeast winds 20 knots for Lynn Canal, and 25-knot winds for Stevens Passage from the southeast, 30-knot southeast winds for Clarence Strait with 10-foot seas. Prince William Sound tomorrow, east winds 15 knots, east-southeasterlies at 15 for the eastern North Gulf Coast, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots for the Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay, and for Cook Inlet, southwest 20 knots, seas 4 feet in the western North Gulf Coast, just light variable winds. And then gale warnings here for the North Gulf Coast for tomorrow, for Thursday. For east to northeast winds, 35 to 40 knots with 12 to 13 foot seas. Prince William Sound, you'll see an increase in east winds as well, but only to about 20 knots with seas building to 4 feet. Gale warnings for the Barren Islands, northeast at 35 knots with 12-foot seas, northeast 30 knots for Kamishak Bay, and north to northeast 15 to 20 knots for Cook Inlet. Kodiak Island tomorrow, variable to southeast winds at 20, east 20 for Bristol Bay, and for the Alaska Peninsula, we've got east to southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. And for the day on Thursday, for the peninsula, light variable winds, 10 knots or so, with seas running 2 to 4 feet or 1 to 4 feet. Northwest at 15 for Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, north to northeast winds, pretty stiff there at 30 knots with seas at 9 feet. Eastern Aleutians, variable to northwest winds, 10 to 15 knots for the day Wednesday. Adak and Atka, northwesterlies at 15 to 20 knots. And for the western Aleutians, variable winds, 10 to 15 knots. And then for Thursday, western Aleutians, north to west winds at 20 to 30 knots. And for the central and eastern Aleutians, light wind conditions expected, as you can see, variable at 10 knots with seas running 2 to 4 feet. And for the southwest coast, actually for the Yukon Delta coast, St. Lawrence Island, northerlies at 20 knots tomorrow, northeast 20 for Norton Sound, northeast 25 for St. Matthew Island, 15 knots out of the northeast for the Pribilofs, and east winds at 10 for the Kuskokwim Delta coast. Then for the day Thursday, northwest at 10 for the Kuskokwim Delta coast, north at 15 for the Yukon Delta area, and northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, Norton Sound, Seward Peninsula, north at 20 for St. Matthew Island, light variable winds for the Pribilofs. And for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast tomorrow, west-northwest winds at 10 knots, northwest at 10 for the central coast, north at 15 for the western Arctic coast, and the Chukchi Sea looking at northerly winds 20 to 25 knots. And for Thursday, the Chukchi Sea, north to northwest winds 15 to 25 knots, west at 15 for the central and western Arctic coast, and the east side, you'll be seeing west winds at about 20 knots.